Have you ever wondered what games you should keep or you should lose? Find out here at Purge Reviews.
So today we're going to count down the top 15 cops in the Brook City game universe. I think I have all 15. I'm counting down all of them from worst to best. And we're all going to disagree on this. I'd really like to see your comments if you're a big Brook City fan. Who do you like the best? Where did I get wrong? I mean, some of these in the middle, it's kind of tight. It depends on your play style, some of this. So I don't know who is up, who is down, and what is best and what is not. But I do know who I like, who plays to my style the best. So I'd love to hear your comments. What did I get wrong? What did I get right? Let me know below. And we'll just get started. My number 15 is Ying Hua. And she just plays like a secondary character to me. She's a support character at best. And while sometimes I might do that if I'm with my kids or something, her main power is to choose a cop. You may draw a card and play an encounter card. What she doesn't give you, and she's one of the rare ones that doesn't, she doesn't give you an encounter as her main action. Now that might be interesting to some. And when I play with my kids, there's a lot of encountering going on. It's nice to be a support player. She's someone that maybe I would pick. Otherwise, most of us want to be the star of our show. We want somebody who can kick butt, take names. What did Roddy Piper say? I want to kick butt and chew bubble gum, and I'm all out of bubble gum. So that's not her. She's going to be a support staff. Now, some of her cards are very interesting, and all these cards are meant to be different and to be balanced, as it were. But she's definitely a support character. I think that she'll be helping other people do things, and sometimes that's the most fun thing in the world. Yes, you need somebody like that in your party sometimes, but it's nice to have that as your partner. But you probably don't want to be that partner. And that's how I feel about her. Selena Gonzalez is, it's kind of tough I put her down this low because when you're going through it, you agonize over these decisions at some points, and she's one of the ones I agonized about. The truth is I don't play with her very much, and other people have, and she can be very powerful. So she gives you the 2 blue die in an encounter, and then you can use a prepared action, which is very, very nice, and can be very powerful. She also has the sniper. You can counter target anywhere on the board, which is fantastic. I like that quite a bit. I like somebody else being her, though, because it's really helpful out. There's another one I like here where she can move 5, and then if you're in a location, you may place a progress on a target not in your location. Very powerful. Here, now I'm talking about her, I'm like, she should be higher. And that's what's hard, is each of these people have a plus and a minus. So, other than number 15, I feel like number 14 could be in the top 5. She's very good. She doesn't have to move as much. So she can kind of she's like a sniper. She can shoot from around the board and get to where you need her to be. Very good one. And once again, you can see this on the back end. A lot of these are a great way to round out a party. You need somebody like her, especially against certain bosses. And that's another thing. Against certain villains or certain cases, this may all shuffle who I would pick. But overall, she's a great character to be. Number 13 is Chance Mitchell. He comes in a Velocity expansion. And he's a movie star and very famous. And what I don't like about him is he's constantly generating hunches. He's all about discarding the hunches to do things and move around. He's a good character. I think people are going to like him. I mean, his things encounter 2. You may discard a hunch to change the approach of this encounter to the approach of a choice or gain a hunch. So every turn you do his action, you're getting 2 blue die and probably a hunch, or you can change what you're going after if the resistance is too high. That's very good against somebody who has high resistance, like the bad guy from the box, the Russian guy, where Antolov, where he has high resistance to everything. This is a character that can help you. Very situational, and you're constantly discarding the hunches that you might want for rerolls and stuff like that. So it's kind of a wash for me sometimes with him. Not one of my favorite ones, and it's one of the reasons why the Velocity expansion wasn't on top of my list. Meryl Jones, not the bear from RoboCop, right? She's a pretty good character, so she can handle a lot of stress at 12, which makes her very appealing in a lot of ways. She also helps you get rid of stress. So once again, a very good support character. I always tend, if I lose, I tend to lose by stress. It just seems like it's that way. I don't manage it really well. Probably because I'm not taking a lot of characters like her. I need to have her in there that she can do that. The other card I really like about her is Encounter 2. Before this encounter, you may suffer stress, reduce the resistance to 0. Suffer up to 3 stress to move 1. And there's some in here where she gets an extra die if she has 5 or more stress. So it's almost like you want to get the stress up on her, but not too much because then you'll lose. And I always end up being overbearing in that regard. So a fun character to play with, something a little bit different. I would say she's a more advanced character. I would say she is somebody you want to play with. If you play it a few times, or you're playing with a bunch of newbies, and you want a little bit more challenging of a character to play and to play well, she would definitely be it. But I'm not that good, so she's lower on the list. Number 11 is Mallory Dawson. And she's definitely the lady from Fargo. That's the parody they're going for her. And she's going to be able to give you hunches or give another cop a hunch, which is nice. But she's also going to be rewarding for giving up hunches, which is going to make you want to keep the hunches to give them up for the special powers. She also has some cards that, like, if she just has hunches, she's able to do certain things. And that's kind of appealing, but the fact that you're always giving hunches out. Now, there are quite a few cases, or at least some cases, that require you to have hunches and to give them up, which means you're not discarding them for her special power cards, etc. So it kind of weakens her a little bit depending on the case or the crime you're doing. It's the character I really like from the movies. I want this to be one of my favorite characters. And I do choose her a lot because I do like the character quite a bit. But if I'm being honest with myself, it's not one of the more powerful characters, I don't think. Now, most of these could be in the right hands, right? The right play style, somebody who can utilize it and use the cards. I have a lot of faith in the designers to be able to do that. So that's where I would put her at. Not my favorite, but at this area in the game, I think I'm very comfortable with having her there. It's just gain hunches and give up hunches. So we're going to be doing a lot of her to maximize the benefit. Number 10 is Moria Banks. Now, this is an interesting character. And one I tell a lot of newbies to get. It can be a little boring because she has a lot of bonuses for being in a car. So she will just kind of sit in a car and drive by. Just something like Gus Ferguson is a really good person against that. And she's a very powerful character in general. And if I were putting out most powerful characters, she may be one of the top ones, to be very honest with her. I really like the aspect she can just kind of sit in a car and get extra dice for doing so. And you get bonuses for being in a car. And she rewards that over and over again. So she just kind of cruises around looking for the crime. Almost like a beat cop, but she's not. And she's a very fun character to be because you're having a lot of success, you're rolling a lot of dice. But there's a little bit of drawback to that, right? Because you're not running into the houses, you're not knocking down the door and stuff, which you might want to do, which we'll see some of the characters do later. So not necessarily my playing style, not something that I particularly enjoy, but one, she's very, very powerful, and she works straight from her car, which is really funny and a great character to be. Number 9 is Morgan Hall, which is definitely a play on Dexter, right? I think that's what we're going for here. And what he's going to allow you to do is to manipulate placing influence on crime in order to get more dice, and then you'll be discarding influence to kind of move around. You can gain stress, a lot of movement cards that are going to be in here. And then, which gives you a lot of variability and flexibility to move around the board quite a bit. And you're going to be putting the influence on the crimes, which is going to be tough with some of the bad guys, like on Long and stuff like that. You don't want to place a lot of influence on it. So it's going to be a little bit tough in order to get the benefit that you're hoping for. So there's a little push and pull because you're doing something really awful to yourself to get a tiny bit of a bonus, but you need to do that with Morgan. Otherwise, the success isn't going to be there. And that's an interesting pull that you're maybe doing more harm than good every time you do something. It's right in line with the Dexter character, isn't it? And I think this one's very thematic as you're going through, and it's very fun to play. I like the Dexter series. I watched it to completion. So having the Dexter-like character where, I'm doing good, but I may be doing more. That whole aspect is very interesting. And it comes through with the cards and the deck. And the more thematic you allow it to be, I think the more that you would enjoy this one. Number 8 is Axel Murdock. And Axel is the button-up cop who kind of loses his temper at times, right? What he's going to be really good about is drawing leads for you. And the leads are nice because some of those things require you to have leads to get to clues, but also the leads give you a bonus as you're going through. And you're going to get extra dice for having more leads, and you get other cops to draw leads or gain hunches. It's going to be really, really good at radio signals encounters he's going to have, and he has ways to gain hunches and stuff. He's a very versatile character, and he really works well with the Delta Keys expansion that you're going to have. He's got 10 stress that he can withhold, which is okay. It's moderately fine. And I feel like he's a straight-laced cop. He's very good. He's very good when he's matched with his brother, Rhys, who we'll get to soon. This hasn't been talked about much. But this is a very solid addition. And for him to be somewhere in the middle makes a lot of sense to me, because Axel is one of those guys that does a little bit of this and a little bit of that and does everything well. Next is Rhys Murdock, the brother of Axel. And he's almost the opposite. So Rhys is the guy that wears the Hawaiian shirt, right? He's a little bit crazy in what he does. And everything he feels like he's doing is half-cocked. So, like, for example, his action is encounter 3, then either discard a card or you suffer a stress. There's things in here where you can discard a card to get a boon. You're gaining stress as you go through. Move 5. After moving, you and each cop near you suffers a stress and may play a tactic card. So everybody near you just gets stressed out as you're going through. If you don't have somebody who can get rid of stress, he's not going to last that long. So it's very interesting and very thematic that you're going through here, that he just feels half-cocked all the time, like a little bit of a screw is loose, which is very interesting and a very fun way to play. Now, contrast that with Axel, who feels like he's more tuned, he's more centered on what he's doing. And you have two very cool characters that work well together that I really enjoy. And I probably enjoy Rhys a little bit more because being that crazy guy is a little bit more fun than being a straight guy. But both are really, really good and have some good bonuses for you. I put Rhys just a little bit ahead. Number 6 is Wilson Fox, which is, I guess, supposed to be the Beverly Hills Cop. This is Axel from the popular Eddie Murphy character, right? He's really good at busting crimes, and you want this guy going around the city and busting crimes. That's what he does best. And his action allows you to place a progress on a crime in your crime area. So you shouldn't have a lot of crime in this crime area as he's going through this pretty good. You're going to get a lot of critical rolls and hunches for busting crimes. Each cop may exhaust a crime in their crime area. That means it's not going to trigger on their turn, which is very, very helpful. He is a very useful character to have and a great place for new players to start. He's one of the ones, Wilson Fox, I'll just say, hey, if you're new, go ahead and take this. He eats up a lot of stress with 12. He has really fun, easy cop maneuvers to do. He helps other people. He's almost like the Captain America of the set, if you will. He's just a very good character to have. I think most people will be able to pick up on him rather quickly. And he has some depth to him also. So a very fun character to have. And anybody, my age or older will recognize the parody of the character and have a good laugh and a good time. Ricky Lou is a character that came in the base set, in the core set of the game. He gives you 12 stress, which was a lot to soak up. Now, his action is encountered 2. You may discard a card from your hand to gain a +1, which is very useful, especially if somebody has a high resistance. But the thing I like about him is the first crit that you roll during your encounter explodes twice. So he can get if he can roll those critical hits and you get that card out, he can be a very, very, very powerful asset and a very fun person to have because you're constantly rolling dice. He's got 1, it's always at the ready. For a cop's encounter, you immediately grab a blue die, which is really nice. So he has some really powerful cards in here. Now, he's in a character that I thought I would like a whole lot, and at first I was kind of hesitant to play with him a whole lot. I just didn't see the strength in him, but the more I played with him, the stronger and the more evident it was how strong of a character he has. And that critical hit that does twice, I love that. Because you get some really big hits, some big Hail Marys in. And Ricky Lou is a well-established, great character to have, and the 5th best one in the core box. Gabe Fulton, or shall we say Mel Gibson from Lethal Weapon, is number 4. He gives you a 10 stress, and now Wilson Fox is probably better than him. But what makes Gabe so unique is his ability to move around the board. And I think, especially if you got new players, he's a great new player to be. And he's almost somebody that you want. You need somebody who can just get around that board and can move. And he has plenty of cards that can move him. It's very, very valuable. In fact, I want to say, if you want to give yourself a great chance to win, there are certain combinations of cops that will definitely increase that. And Gabe is one of them that hits a lot of those groups because of his movements. And they can be easily overlooked. Sure, the vehicles can get you around the board as you want, but his cards that allow you to move over and over and over again. Selena Gonzalez has some of this too, but I just find it overwhelming with Gabe, the amount of times that you can move around the board and how helpful that can be in eliminating, especially some of these where they randomly just send somebody across the board. Gabe can handle a lot of those, and I really like the character for it. Renae Benson reminds me of Chloe from 24, if you remember that show, although I'm sure there's probably a different reference for her that I'm not getting. What's particularly interesting about her, and this is somebody, and I first got the set, if I would have made this when I first have it, she would have been one of the weaker characters, I would have thought, and somebody that I did not enjoy playing. Now, she's definitely a support character because some of the things like moving isn't as important. What she's going to allow you to do is put these hacking tokens out, and she's a hacker. So when she puts those hacking tokens, that she put one anywhere on the board that she wants, then she's able to interact with things that are near it. And that's going to be very powerful because you don't have to move around the board. And that is why she's a little bit more powerful than Gabe, because although Gabe can move around the board and get to where he needs to be, she can do it with a couple clicks of a button, which makes it very powerful and a very good use of her talents here. She can interact as if you were in each of your hacking token spaces. Encounter 2, blue. If the target's within 5 spaces, reduces the resistance by 1. So you want to spread those tokens out as much as possible. Get them in the location that you need them, and then gain the benefit from doing so. Renae Benson is somebody that people may overlook and think is just a secondary character. She is not. She's one of the most powerful. Lester Nelson, or George Clooney, is somebody I was surprised that I put up as high. And this is my own playstyle. Look, I lose a lot by stress. Now, he can only handle 8 stress. Doesn't handle stress well at all. But he has cards that are able to get rid of the stress or handle it. He has one that says, each time a cop would suffer stress, you may instead place that stress on this card. They're up to 3. Once there's 3, it will be discarded. So it has the stress capabilities, which I need quite a bit. Choose a cop, play a card. Then each cop may resolve the prepared effect of a tactic. On a 4-player game, it's a lot of prepared tactics that are being sent out there. Encounter 2, then you may either discard a stress or exhaust a crime. So that crime won't act, or you get rid of a stress, which is very powerful to me. So unless there's somebody who helps me manage stress, which is my downfall in most of these games, and for that reason alone, I like him quite a bit. My number 1 person is Earl Thompson. If I want to try to win, or I'm in a position where I cannot win, or I keep losing a scenario, I turn to Earl, and he is the best cop in the series. Encounter 2, if you roll 1 or more hunches during the encounter, you add a hit. So you get a hit every time you roll a hunch, plus you get the hunch tokens from it, or can turn that hunch into a hit. So if you have something big, he's your man. Now, each time an influence is placed on a crime in your crime area, you discard a hunch to place a progress on it. He can moves and counter moves. And then he's got a card I like a lot called It's All Coming Together. For each hunch you have, reveal a lead card. Then for each revealed lead, choose a cop to take control of it. Discard any access. Encounter 2, then place a progress on a crime. Seeing the pattern. When near a crime, you may encounter any crime in play, adding 1 to that crime's resistance. And so you can go anywhere on the board by the numbers. Encounter 2, then choose a cop to gain a hunch. I cannot stress enough how powerful Earl is. He's one of the best characters in the game. Now, his weakness is he only can handle 9 stress. He doesn't like stress at all. But there's so many versatile things you can do with him. And he is so much fun. Now, you're going to get him in the 6th cycle, which is my favorite expansion. And he is going to be my favorite cop to play as. So that's my list. What do you guys think? Did I get anything wrong? Was I right? Have I played it enough? Why am I an idiot? Please tell me below. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Helps us grow as we're trying to get a little bit bigger each and every day. Thanks for watching and have a great day.